The Brothers of Liberty, here to remind you what true freedom is. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Liberty with the older brother Kelton here. Um, Today's video is actually wasn't planning to do it, so most of the stuff I'll actually be reading from the phone. I was actually doing some research on the Night the 10th Amendment video, which will come out in a couple of days. I just got to edit it now, but I got all the information on that. But this ties in with the Biden vaccine mandate and how it should never even gone to the Supreme Court. It should never even been made a directive. And because apparently Supreme Courts have ruled in the past about federal directives and states and the federal government being separate entities. Um, and also the Ninth Amendment, where about the vaccine passports that Chicago, New York are doing, and LA, and even despite the fact it's in Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Broward. And I've actually had a friend who, or I know somebody who's a family friend who had to show a vaccine passport, even though the state of Florida made it illegal, and they had to write the office of DeSantis. But I'm going to cover three Supreme Court cases. Now these are more summaries than anything else because, like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this video, but I think it's a video that needs to be shared because it shows insight. And if anybody knows any of the lawyers that are doing the on the lawsuit with the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals against the United States, this is definitely some groundbreaking material here for them. Because one, OSHA is a federal regulatory agency, and one of the Supreme Court actually rules about that. So not OSHA directly, but you'll see what I mean when I come up. But first, we're going to discuss the Ninth Amendment rulings. What they use the Ninth Amendment on two rulings here. The first ruling is the 1965 Griswold versus Connecticut. The U.S. Supreme Court strikes down a Connecticut law forbidding the use of contraceptives because it restricts the right of marital privacy. Although the Bill of Rights does not actually mention privacy, the court concludes that it is a natural extension of the rights mentioned in the First, Third, and Fourth Amendments. The court points out to the Ninth Amendment as further evidence that a right does not need to be spelled out in the Constitution to be considered fundamental. Privacy. It's about putting something in somebody's body, and they said it's the right to privacy. Vaccine going to the body, right to privacy. It's part of the body. So no, you do not need to know my vaccination status, especially businesses, because they also don't want to discuss HIPAA laws, which it also clearly violates. And I love how people say, no, it doesn't violate HIPAA laws. I work for a company where in order just to schedule I wasn't even looking at medical information, but just to schedule a tech person to go out and install a piece of medical equipment, I had to be HIPAA certified because I was seeing their address. But according to the government, it doesn't violate HIPAA laws asking for medical information. Yes, it does. Um, and so yeah. Anyway, to the other Ninth Amendment ruling, well, using the Ninth Amendment, and this is whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, and I happen to be pro-life, but we use fire to fight fire. In the Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court rejects Texas law that outlaws abortion because it restricts the right to privacy. As in the Griswold case, the court finds that even though the right to privacy is not specifically listed in the Bill of Rights, the Ninth Amendment allows unenumerated rights to be recognized as well. So yes, all those vaccine passports are unconstitutional because you're violating my privacy and everyone else's privacy. But the government don't want to see it that way. And we got to remind them that we are educated and we have read through Supreme Court cases. So that being said, let's look at the 10th Amendment ruling now, that they use the 10th Amendment wrong. And this one is the Brady Law. And if you're not familiar with that, it was actually talking about the mandatory background checks for purchasing a gun, uh, which was passed by Congress, not an executive order that Biden told OSHA to do. This was passed by Congress. So it's a law that was passed by Congress, and the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional. And this is why. In the Prince versus United States, the Supreme Court holds that the law violates the 10th Amendment. The federal government cannot issue directives requiring the states to address particular problems or command state officials to enforce a federal regulatory program. Now, they did say at Scalia, Court Justice Scalia, I'm probably killing his name, and I do apologize, but um, in his opinion, he said now they can voluntarily do it, but they cannot be forced to do it. Same thing with businesses and stuff that are in state jurisdictions. Remember, there's a state labor department, and OSHA, it might be federal, but it's run by people from those particular states. And OSHA themselves even said they do not have the resources or anything like that to enforce it. They're depending on people tattletelling, like the people who told the Germans where the Jews are. Ooh, did I say that out loud? And OSHA, like I said in the beginning of this video, is a regulatory federal agency. And right here, it clearly says that state or command state officials cannot enforce a federal regulatory program. So yeah, that got shot. So yeah, the Biden vaccine mandate. I don't know why they didn't reference this particular Supreme Court case, because they probably, if they did that, they knew that they would be opening even a bigger can of worms, which they don't want to open. But I'm opening it for them. I got the can opener and I'm opening it. As far as the other two Supreme Courts for the Ninth Amendment. So yeah, if anybody's fighting it in the court of law or anything like that, something you might want to address to your lawyers, because there has been Supreme Court rulings on privacy of a person's body and of the federal government overreach. Not just the simple uh, Supreme Court ruling of, well, OSHA is a broad regulated thing. No. Clearly states federal government cannot issue directives requiring the states to address particular problems or command state officials to enforce a federal regulatory program. But hey, people interpret things differently. I'll see a green wall, so we'll say it's a blue wall because they want it to be blue. No matter if like my shirt, because someone is so dead set, they'll say it's a completely black shirt and I'm wrong. But hey, we all know the science they use. But if you have a difference of opinion, feel free to put them in the comments. We welcome opinions. And if you have, like I always say, encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. The more we get, the more people will see. And follow us on Rumble, Facebook, Telegram, Parler, YouTube. And if you have any topics you wanted to discuss, or any questions you may have, or if you want to be part of our videos, uh, Brothers of Liberty 76 at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And we like to expand, the more the merrier, to get the truth out there, and to get the left wing narrative out of people's faces. Because let's face it, when you turn it on the news and everything, it's always about the left wing narrative. In fact, I'm thinking about expanding our news as well to more than just the YouTube shorts. And I am the older brother of Liberty, and I'm always going to remind you what true freedom is and ought to be.